the eye is in its orbit. This sac right here, the lacrimal sac, is going to collect tears off the eye surface and carry them down into the nasal cavity. You can't really see that connection on this model. There would be little canals that come from the eyelids, the palpebrae, something I referred to yesterday as Monday as the punctae. They would drain into this thing here. The eye we can see then is made up of the anterior cornea, which is clear, and then the sclera that is the rest of the structure of the eye. We can see here the optic nerve as it then makes its way to the opening in the skull where it enters the skull, and then the optic nerve meets with the other optic nerve from the other side and partially crosses over the optic chiasm or chiasma. As we open up the eye, we start to see the layers of it. The sclera. This is somewhat realistic. The sclera is a bit thicker in the back than it is on the sides. We can also see the cornea as it sort of forms kind of a bit of a clear dome over the front portion of the eye. The next layer in, we can see that the model maker has included blood vessels. This layer is called the vascular tunic or the choroid. We can see that the choroid is also pigmented in color, okay? So the sclera, fibrous layer, the choroid, the vascular layer. Also part of the vascular layer is the iris. The iris is pigmented. The iris, where it is not present, is an opening known as the pupil. As we open further, we go one layer deeper and we see the retina. The retina is cup-shaped like the choroid, and it is punctuated by the entry and exit point for blood vessels of the eye, as well as then the exit of the the ganglion cells of the retina. This area is called the optic disc or the blind spot. The eye has a place known as the yellow spot or the macula lutea, and this is where vision is the sharpest and where color vision exists. When we look at the iris, we see that that's part of the choroid. We then see this ridge of muscles, which is also part of the vascular tunic. This is called the ciliary bodies or ciliary muscles. The inner portion of this eye is missing, so I'll be right back. When you put the rest of the model back together, then you can see how the lens is situated close to the ciliary muscles. And in that way, then the ciliary muscles can act on the lens, okay? Behind the lens is an area of the eye known as the posterior compartment, and it contains the vitreous humor. I get the compartment names mixed up quite a bit. There is an anterior portion. I believe it's called the anterior cavity. It's everything ahead of the lens to the cornea, and it contains the fluid known as aqueous humor. I think this area here is called the posterior cavity. It contains the vitreous humor, and sometimes is called the vitreous cavity or vitreous chamber. I believe that's it. I don't think there is anything else.
Yellow spot.
Okay. So the macula lutea, which on this model is shown in purple, it's shown in purple, is where our vision is the best.
Oh.
It's called the yellow spot or macula lutea. The model has a yellow spot on there, but that's actually the optic disc where there is no vision, the blind spot.
Is that everything?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Good.